Subnautica 2 already looks beautiful, but on the built-in Epic preset, some parts of the image still look rough. The reflections can be noisy, shadows can look weirdly pixelated, and the performance hit is still brutal for what we are actually seeing on screen. In the last guide, we fixed the upscaling problem with FSR4 through OptiScaler, and today we're fixing the actual Unreal Engine visuals with Ultra Plus. Hey guys, welcome back to GeekJ, where we make tech, tutorials and gaming simpler and better. In my Subnautica 2 optimization guide, I showed you how to get OptiScaler going through OptiScaler client, and their results with FSR4 were honestly amazing, especially on RDNA 2 and RDNA 3 AMD GPUs that are still not officially supported by FSR4 and AMD. I think RDNA 3 is coming soon, but you can find that guide by clicking up here if you missed it. Hello? But even after that, I still had some complaints, let's say, about how the game looks. Not the art style. The art style is still gorgeous in my opinion. I am talking about the Unreal Engine Lumen implementation, or however they in the future decide to name their ray tracing techniques and lighting and shadowing techniques, basically. So yeah, reflections were not as accurate as I wanted. They were very blurry. Sometimes they were missing it. They were like minuscule. Shadows looked too pixelated in some areas, and some parts of the image just did not look as epic as the preset name suggested, basically. So today I'm going to show you how to improve both the visual quality and the performance of Subnautica 2 with a tool that unlocks a whole pile of extra Unreal Engine settings. And if you have watched the channel for a while, you probably already know where this is going. So the tool we are talking about is Ultra Plus. I first covered Ultra Plus with Cyberpunk 2077, and since then the project has grown into something much bigger. It is not just one tweak or one INI file anymore. Ultra Plus is now a whole community-driven ecosystem with incredibly talented developers, and Ultra Plus Manager makes it much easier to install, update, and configure supported games. And yes, obviously Subnautica 2 is officially supported, and there is a very long list. I think it's 60 plus games that are officially supported, and that is basically perfect for us because Subnautica 2 is running on Unreal Engine 5, and UE5 games usually hide a lot of the settings that actually matter. Ultra Plus basically lets us reach deeper into those settings and tune things the game menu does not expose. But yeah, to use it, we first need to download and install Ultra Plus Manager. And according to the official Ultra Plus website, the Ultra Place, if we click this button that says Get Ultra Plus, it's free. Then you can see that the Ultra Place Discord and the Nexus mod page are the places that they officially support their Ultra Plus Manager and Ultra Plus mod. So we can just go on ahead and click on the Nexus mods page over here, and you can see that it opens up into their own mod page of Ultra Plus Manager. But yeah, you know the drill. I will have links for all of these in the description below. There it is. The sacred word returns. If we scroll a little bit further down here, we can manually download the Ultra Plus Manager. And also, quick side note over here, these legends have made Ultra Plus Manager available on Linux as well, which is always nice to see. So anyway, once you download it, just install it normally as you would do any other program. Just on Windows, it's next, and finish or close or something. And then just launch Ultra Plus Manager. So So once Ultraplast Manager opens, this is the screen we get. And I have to say they have seriously improved the UI since the last time I covered this tool. On the left side, your installed games should be detected automatically over here. If Subnautica 2 for any reason does not appear automatically, you can just manually add it, so do not panic if your install path is a little weird. Now we click on Subnautica 2, obviously, and at this point Ultraplast Manager may ask how we want to install it if we click this update or install little button over here. So I'm gonna go on ahead and click on this, and as you can see, it's asking us to confirm the installation method. You may see an option for Ultraplast Standalone if you already manage UE4SS yourself. So if you're already running mods in Subnautica 2, there is a good chance you may already have UE4SS installed, like 99% of the time. But for this setup, I am keeping the game clean anyway, so I'm going to choose the bundled UE4SS option. So I'm just gonna do download latest without clicking this I manage my own UE4SS and only install the Ultraplast file. So I'm gonna click on this one, and then we're gonna be prompted to choose the version. Obviously, we're gonna go with the latest version and download. That keeps things simple and avoids making this more complicated than it needs to be. We can also click on this changelog button over here, and you can see what has changed in this latest version. And we can see that 1.1.4 is minor performance tweaks, which is super nice to see. So after installation, we get access to a lot of options. At the top, we have presets, as you can see over here, and they are extremely handy. We will test those in a moment, but before attaching the presets or anything else, there are two important things we need to do. So first, we need to set the auto apply config to on. And basically this allows Ultraplast to apply and reload configuration changes while we are in game, so we can test settings much faster. Second, and this is very important, if you followed my previous OptiScaler guide, scroll all the way down and open the advanced menu and scroll further down over here. And from here, we need to enable force DLSS and set it to on basically, and force DLSS FG as well to on. Do not skip this. If you've already set up OptiScaler for FSR4 and frame generation, these options help keep that previous setup working correctly. So if you leave them off, your OptiScaler setup will stop behaving the way we configured it in the last video. It will basically stop working altogether. So again, auto apply config on, force DLSS on, and force DLSS FG on. So now with these settings done, we can load back into Subnautica and test this. So basically we're starting with the built-in Epic preset as our baseline, as you can see over here. And I want to use the same area as much as possible, so we're not just comparing random footage. So here's the vanilla Epic preset. The game still looks good, but look closely at the reflections, as you can see over here. They're there, but they're not very stable, very noisy. Some surfaces look more than noisy, they kind of look smudgy, they look incomplete, and certain angles just make the reflections fall apart. So if we go over here, you can see a lot of noise over there. We barely get any reflections from the lights on the ceilings. And keep in mind, this is like a metallic surface all over the place. And if we go over here in this area, we see like this circle light. We see a lot of noise over here, and we're gonna try to improve that. Let's go check out some shadows over here. In some spots they look too blocky or pixelated, especially when we are moving. And yeah, this is the kind of thing you might not notice in a still screenshot, but once you're actually playing the game, you know, your eyes start catching it because it's kind of disrupting. And the frustrating part is that we are already paying the Epic preset performance cost. So if we are paying for Epic, I want the image to actually feel epic. So now let me bring up the Ultra Plus and start with the Ultra Plus preset. So I'm gonna just Alt Tab over here. We're gonna go in the presets and Ultra Plus defaults over here. So you can see some of the things that changed have a different purple color over here. And right away, this is a very different image. As you can see, the reflections are cleaner and more accurate. The noisy, unstable look is reduced. It's not completely gone, it's reduced. The shadows are higher quality. So if we again go outside, we can see that even with the Ultra Plus defaults, we have a bit of a higher quality, and they look much better filtered, so probably they use a better feathering technique, and we do not have that harsh pixelated look from before. It's still there, but it's not as harsh. But yeah, the reflections issue is especially noticeable inside the base, as you can see over here, where we have multiple reflective materials, sharper lighting, and surfaces that make Lumen work a lot harder. So you can see the reflections are a lot more clean, a lot more accurate. So we can see a lot more reflections right now. So let's go see the other problematic areas. This looks much better and accurate. And if we go in this room over here, a lot less noise in these reflections. Unfortunately, this is still here. But yeah. The reflections look much more accurate and less noisy, and the performance is kind of on the same level as before. Depending on where we are, what we're looking at and stuff, it's gonna be more taxing in some areas, less taxing in some other areas. Outside, we also get some improvements to things like draw distance and overall scene stability. So let me go back over here. But yeah, as you can see, we can see much further in. And it is not just one setting doing magic. It is a bunch of Unreal settings being pushed into a better balance, basically. Now, the part everyone cares about, performance and visual fidelity balancing. And depending on your system and the preset you choose, Ultra Plus can either push visuals higher, improve performance, or let you find a better balance than the built-in menu gives you. On my setup, the Ultra Plus preset gives us a much better looking image while keeping performance very playable, especially combined with the FSR4 and frame generation setup from the previous guide. And this is why basically I like combining these tools. OptiScaler handles the upscaling and frame generation side, especially for the AMD Intel side, and Ultra Plus handles the deeper Unreal Engine quality and rendering side. And together they make the game feel much closer to what I actually wanted from the built-in Epic preset. Now, if you want more performance, you can test the lower or balanced presets over here. So I'm gonna Alt Tab, and then we're gonna go back to the presets. And as you can see, we have low, medium, high, very high, and epic, and the Ultra Plus defaults we just used. So if we go with low, you're gonna see that it still looks better than the default setting. The performance is still there. We get 60 to 61 frames per second on average over here. The reflections are still more present than before. The surfaces are a lot more reflective than what the default game actually shows. They are less noisy still. I can see that they are a lower resolution than before, but still this is really good, and the surfaces look as they should. Now if we go and test how the shadows look over here with this plant, we can see they look a bit rougher, more lower resolution shadows basically. Now I'm gonna Alt Tab again, and you can see we can test the medium preset over here. Again, we can see that even though some settings are pushed further, maybe they help performance instead of hampering it. We get a bit more frames per second over here with the medium preset and some higher resolution reflections. This looks pretty darn good, I would say. But the noisiness of Lumen is still present, as you can see over here. Now, if you have a stronger system and want to push the visuals harder, try Very High or Epic from the Ultra Plus presets. And just to be clear, the Ultra Plus Epic preset is not the same as the in-game Epic preset. Ultra Plus is touching settings that are present and some other settings that are not present or are not exposed into the in-game menus. So this can push the image further than what the game gives us by default, but it also means it pushes the hardware harder. So you will obviously get worse performance. So we can go ahead and test that now. I'm gonna go with the Very High, for example, preset. And as you can see, some of the settings are changing over here. And how are we looking in-game? It takes some time until you can see that you're standing still and the FPS is pretty much stable. And as you can see, we get 58 to 57 FPS on the Very High preset. But some things are a lot more stable, as you can see. The noise is a bit toned down over here. From the Lumen, the reflections look much higher quality. Let me go in here. As you can see, we are still getting pretty good FPS. The performance is not bad at all on my system, of course, and we are upscaling from 720p. As you can see, I'm using the quality preset on a 1080p monitor, high refresh rate monitor, and yeah. This is how we are performing and looking with the Very High preset. And if we Alt Tab again and go to the preset over here and select the Epic preset, you can see a lot of the settings go to the Epic or Ultra setting. And if we go back into the game, we can see a much bigger performance hit over here. So we are averaging around 41 to 42 FPS in this specific room with a lot of reflections and shadows and all that stuff. And with the power of frame generation, we're getting about 80 to 82 frames per second on average. And obviously the game does look smoother, but it feels like it is running at the 39-40 FPS average over here. So yeah, you gotta pick your battles. Reflections look much higher resolution and quality on the Epic preset of Ultra Plus. Much cleaner. We can see a lot more details of this flower on its reflection as well, and this is because of its higher quality. A lot less noisy reflections as well. Much better, but the performance hit is very big. Now, if we grab our tadpole, we can also check how the shadows look, and they look much higher quality, much better shadows. This is really a high fidelity, high quality experience in comparison to the in-game default presets. So yeah, my recommendation, it's pretty simple. Start with Ultra Plus default preset. If you need more frames per second, step down. If you have performance headroom and want the cleanest image, step up to Very High or Epic and test your own route. Do not just stare at the menu and guess. Just, you know, head out, do what you would normally do while playing the game, and see how the game looks and performs for you and your system specifically. So for my current recommended setup, I use the previous OptiScaler setup for FSR4 and frame generation. Obviously, I install Ultra Plus Manager, then I install Ultra Plus for Subnautica 2, as we just demonstrated, with bundled UE4SS, because I do not use any other mods. Then I enable auto apply config, enable force DLSS and force DLSS frame generation under advanced. And I usually start my benchmark with the Ultra Plus default preset because it's a really nice balanced preset. And then I test the very high and epic on my system, and if I have room, I leave it on epic. If I don't have room, I usually leave it on very high. And for me, this makes Subnautica 2 look much more stable, much cleaner, and much closer to what I expected from a modern Unreal Engine 5 underwater survival game. And that's it. In the last Subnautica 2 guide, we fixed the upscaling problem with FSR4. In this one, we fixed the part of the game that still felt kind of rough, especially the lumen reflections and the shadow quality. And it was really interesting to see that the hidden Unreal Engine settings were actually holding back the built-in epic preset. Ultra Plus Manager has come a long way, and for Subnautica 2, it gives us exactly what we needed: more control. If this helped you make Subnautica 2 look better, run better, or both, smash that like button, subscribe, hit that bell so you never miss a GeekJ video. If you want to take it further, consider joining the GeekJ squad for early access and exclusive perks, or drop a super thanks if you're feeling generous, of course. Massive shout out to my channel architects, Paris STR and Kostas Dari. You are and forever remain legends. Drop your results in the comments below. Are you using Ultra Plus in Subnautica 2 after watching this video? And which preset gave you the best balance between visuals and FPS? I read every single one of your comments. And yeah, I'm gonna see you in the next one, guys. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye.